Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here today for what is a very sad day for the City of Toronto and the Police Service. As I sadly announced earlier today, very early this morning, a member of the Toronto Police Service, Sergeant Ryan Russell, was killed in the line of duty as a result of being struck by a stolen vehicle this morning in the vicinity of Avenue Road and Davenport Road. The murder of Sergeant Russell is being investigated by the Toronto Homicide Squad, and we are very grateful for the support and information that many citizens are coming forward with to assist us in that investigation. The murder of Sergeant Russell was preceded by theft of a snowplow in the area of Dundas and Parliament Street, and it was through the investigation of that crime that Sergeant Russell attempted to stop the stolen vehicle, was struck and received devastating injuries, and he subsequently succumbed to those injuries, as you have been advised. The vehicle then fled the scene and continued to drive around the west end of the city, where it was involved in numerous collisions. The vehicle was followed by officers of the Toronto Police Service, and eventually was stopped by members of our emergency task force. The individual responsible was apprehended at the scene and taken into custody. I'm aware that he received certain injuries, and that aspect of the investigation is being conducted by the Special Investigative Unit, an independent agency of the province of Ontario, investigating the injuries received. We are sharing that scene with the Special Investigative Unit because there were further criminal acts perpetuated there, as another police officer from the emergency task force was injured. Today, we have had the sad duty to notify Sergeant Russell's family of the tragic loss of this officer who was out doing his job this morning. He is an 11-year veteran of the Toronto Police Service. He is a highly regarded officer, was a highly regarded officer of our service, has served for a number of years in our Guns and Gangs Task Force, and was, in August of last year, promoted to the rank of sergeant, where he was transferred to 52 Division, and has served as one of the supervisors on Eagles in the 52 Division. The young officers who have worked for him and have come to admire and respect him as a leader, I can tell you, because I've spoken to them, they are devastated by the loss of his friend and his colleague and mentor, whom they had come to respect and admire. All of the members of the Toronto Police Service are deeply saddened by the loss of our colleague, brother officer, and our friend. We are doing everything we can to support his family. I would ask for the prayers of the people of Toronto to go to his family as they deal with a devastating loss. Sergeant Russell leaves behind a very courageous young wife and a 2-year-old son. It is indeed a tragedy for the service and for the city. I also want to express my gratitude to the very many citizens of Toronto, to my colleagues in policing and emergency services from across the country who have called to express their sympathy and condolences for this tragic loss. And I want to also pass my thanks to the very, very many citizens who have called to express their love and their support at this very difficult time. Earlier today, I spoke to the press and did not have much of an opportunity to answer your questions. I'll do the best of my ability to do that. The Homicide Squad is investigating the murder of Sergeant Russell. The suspect in this matter is in custody, and at the present time, the investigation is ongoing and the charges have not been laid. It's proceeding as we would expect it to.
Comment on the condition of the suspect. Was he actually hit by the gunfire?
My understanding is that the subject in this matter did receive injuries as a result of gunfire. I can't comment. I'm precluded by law from commenting on any aspect of that investigation. I can tell you that the suspect in the murder of Sergeant Russell is in custody and that the injuries that he received while being taken into custody is being investigated by the SID. There are a number of aspects of this investigation that the homicide squad is looking into currently. Those matters are very much under investigation, and as that evidence is gathered and confirmed, then that information will be passed on. A little early, unfortunately, Rob. We will, of course, be respecting the wishes of the family. We know that very many police officers from across Canada will gather here in Toronto to demonstrate their respect and support for Sergeant Russell, for the service, and for his family. Those arrangements will be working with his family and respecting their wishes. And I anticipate we'll have better information about what those arrangements might be tomorrow, and we'll make that publicly available when that information is known and confirmed to us.
Chief, Sergeant Russell is the first officer to die since you became chief. How have you consoled all of the officers on Toronto Police today? What was your message to them?
Well, all of the officers of our service and all of our many friends in the city grieved the loss of this officer. I went to the hospital this morning, and I had the caretaker responsibility of telling his young wife and the mother of his young son that he had died in the line of duty and that he had made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of the city. And I had to deliver that news to his parents as well. And officers from across the city came to the hospital, wanting to show their respect, wanting to provide their support. I spoke to them. I also went to 52 Division today, and I spoke to the officers who have worked with him for the last 6 months. And I can tell you that they are deeply hurt by the loss of this man that they had come to admire and respect and look upon as a real leader. It really made a strong impression upon them in the mourning that loss today. We're providing all of those officers in 52 Division in all of the units who were involved in today's event, with officers from the Guns and Gangs Task Force who worked with Ryan for so many years, and officers from the ATF, with all of the support that we can for our critical incident teams that have attended there. Our victim services is working with his family, and we're trying to provide all of the support. This is a great loss for us, a loss that we all mourn together, and we are making sure that we provide our people with as much support as we can in a very, very difficult time. And I'm also reminded, you know, I'm from a police family, and I know what this is like because I grew up with it. But I know today when it first went across the radio or on the news that a police officer had been badly hurt, that at least 6,000 families in this city, their hearts skipped a beat. And everybody quickly thought, there is not up. And there is very little comfort that ours is safe, but someone has lost their life, and another family has been so deeply hurt by this. And so I think it's also important that we, each of us, go home and provide a little comfort to our families who are touched by this. And to ensure that we remind ourselves and the people that care about us how dangerous this work can be. And you know, our people, I've always known this, but I think it's important to remember and reflect today that our people go out there and do extraordinary things each and every day. They put their lives on the line, that they do it to keep the public safe, the community safe, and that they are willing to put themselves in harm's way for others. It is each and every day an extraordinary act of courage, and today we have seen the price that some have to pay. And I think it's important for us to go home and hug our kids because there's a little boy living in father, and to be reminded of our responsibility to people who don't care for us. And my understanding, there was also a collision immediately preceding the suspect being apprehended in this case.
The other officer that was injured, how is she doing?
That officer received some injuries at the scene in which the suspect was apprehended. I understand that they are being treated for those injuries and they're going to recover from them. The officer was injured, but those injuries are not life-threatening. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attendance here today and also for your patience. I've asked earlier that we provide the family with a space to respect the very serious grief that they are now experiencing while we provide them with support. I'm very grateful for your continued effort to do that. And as we obtain more information on the arrangements for the funeral that will take place for Sergeant Ryan Russell and for other particulars with respect to our investigation, we'll make that available too. But today, we will grieve the loss of one of our officers, a hero of the Toronto Police Service who went out this morning to do his job. And in doing his job, gave his life. And that is a tragedy for all of us, and something that I think we will take a little